Gavin, Schober, Cedric, Phillips, 9-1 apiece. Very few players here with this record. And it is tied for the best record. No undefeated players remain. Frank Scarron was the only undefeated player, and he lost his opening round. 6 cards for both players. Gavin going first on Hissing Quagmire.
And the die roll is very significant in this matchup.
All right, Cedric starts on Dragon Hunter. Another Quagmire for Gavin. Cedric swings 2. Gavin drops to 18. But he's got to be worried when he sees a double Quagmire start. This is not what Cedric would like. Plays 2 more 2-1s. All right, Savannah lines it up. Liliana, perhaps. It would actually be hard to cast here because it would die.
Yeah, Cedric would be able to crack back at it.
Nissa is the play from Gavin. The Vastwood Seer, he finds a forest.
Nissa trades with the exact same amount of Savannah Lions on this board, though it gains him a little bit less life than a Liliana would.
Yeah, so this is the difficulty. I know that when I was playing seasons past, I thought this was a pretty reasonable matchup for the black-green deck. Your early creatures trade and block, and you get sweepers. You know, you play Languish. Well, Cedric doesn't care. Here's Always Watching. He'll deal 6 trade away with the Nissa. Gavin goes to 12. Does he have a Languish? Well, probably not. He has a tap land. But he does have a Ruinous Path. He'll take care of a Dragon Hunter. Cedric's down to 1 creature. You see there's an Ishkana in Gavin's hand? He's got creature, sorcery in the yard. Drops to 9 on the attack. Cedric plays land, passes.
And Cedric has mulligan to 6. He has 4 lands, and he didn't commit a second creature here. Unclear how much gas he has left in the tank.
Tireless Tracker, land clue from Gavin. And he'll be happy just to trade this tracker.
Yeah, that's about what that card does in this matchup. He'll replace it with an extra card.
Second Always Watching from Cedric. Here's the 4-3 swinging. Now I really want to trade him in Gavin's spot. He'll just block the 3-2 trades. Cedric's at 2 cards in hand. One of them's a plains, passes, no creatures. Gavin cracks the clue. This is black-green control's way. Trade, trade, trade. If I kill your guys, these Always Watchings don't do anything, so...
Yeah, I do think the attack is definitely correct from Cedric, though. If you let the tracker just hang out, it's just going to get better for Schober.
Kalidas for Gavin. Cedric plays Thraben Inspector, cracks his clue. This is... And once Gavin is done trading, he's going to try to play a finisher, but Cedric's at the ready. He will Declaration and Stone the Kalidas. In response, Gavin, though, grasps away the Thraben Inspector, so he'll turn it into a zombie.
And unfortunately, Cedric had to use the Inspector. That's probably how he drew into the Declaration, so he couldn't have played around that.
Instant sorcery creature in the yard for Gavin. Not all the way yet for Ishkana. But Cedric has no creatures. Gavin has 3 creature lands. He'll crack the clue. Draws Ruinous Path. Land number 7. Activates Quagmire. Swings for 4. Cedric's to 16.
And Gavin may very well have turned the corner.
It is looking that way.
Cedric does not really present any kind of haste right out of his deck. He's really just trying to reset up, really wants to peel more of those Thraben Inspectors to get back on the table.
Here's Anointer of Champions. This is one of the tough things, right? We saw mono white humans. Cedric yesterday against Devin Kepke, who was really good at punishing all of Devin's missteps. Devin's land came into play, tapped, something like that. It was just easy. The thing about black-green control is its curve is really low. It's a 2-color deck. Its mana's great. It's just it doesn't stumble much.
Gavin casting a little hasted Flame Tongue Kavu off of that Awoken Ruinous Path.
Hey, he had the 8 mana. Cedric, third Always Watching, plays the last card in his hand. And he's down to 10.
Once the black-green control deck is comfortably casting spells with Awaken in this matchup, they're home.
8 damage puts Cedric to 2. Oath of Nissa for Schober. Looks like he found a Sylvan Advocate. Okay, guess we could have won that turn.
Yeah, if he just found that and pumped up his creature lands.
Yeah, I think he'll win next turn, though. No big problem.
He'll have 5 lethal attackers with those 2 Hissing Quagmires.
Oath of Nissa gives him Delirium, finds Liliana. I like this. He was going to get Liliana, but now decides to show Nissa instead. Just maybe Cedric won't think you're playing Liliana.
In a tighter game, casting that post-combat Oath might feel a little bit silly, but he was far enough ahead where that just didn't matter.
Yeah, right, because he could have... He certainly gave Cedric an extra turn, but there's just no draw that makes that matter.
Right.
You're splitting hairs. you're turning a 100% win into a 100% win. You can't actually call it a misplay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, to the sideboards we will go. Gavin Schober takes game 1 commandingly. We're going to look at Cedric's sideboard. It is to the point and simple. 4 Militia Captains, 4 Archangels, 4 Gideons, 2 Silk Wraps, and a Plains.
It's got exactly 5 cards here, looks like to me. Well, there's some argument for Silk Wrap, because you can expect that this deck is on Sylvan Advocate. That's reasonable there, but it's not great. His best cards, 4 Gideon Ally of Zendikar, and that basic Plains to help him get there.
Yeah, so the idea is that when he boards in enough 4-drops, the Plains comes with.
Mm-hmm. And Cedric is telling me that he brings in the Archangel of Ties kind of a lot. There's some argument for it because it doesn't get Grasp of Darkness, but I think it's just too slow.
Yeah, there's still a lot of removal on Gavin's side that deals with it. You saw him play multiple Ruinous Paths that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4 is a lot. Now, I do really like the idea of Gideon Ally of Zendikar, and I know it also dies to Ruinous Path, but it's great against everything else.
On the play, I do like still having all the 2/1s, but it's possible that on the draw, if you know your opponent's a Liliana the Last Hope deck, maybe you just want to turn your 2/1s into 3/5s.
Sure, I can understand that. Militia Captains, they're generally not good against removal spell decks, right?
No, they're Grizzly Bears.
All right, I'm going to look over at Gavin Schober's sideboard. Black-green, you got to assume that this deck gets better out of sideboarding.
Usually, yeah. 2 Infinite Obliteration, 3 Duress, 2 Transgress the Mind, 2 Grimflayer, Ultimate Price, 2 Languish, 2 Den Protector, and a Green Warden of Marasa. Just looking for removal spells. We have Ultimate Price, 2 Languish, and a 2-mana spell in Grimflayer.
Yeah, those are Languishes number 3 and 4. I mean, in this matchup, it's all about Languish.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that if the curve is high enough, we can bring in Den Protector. Sometimes you just cast that face up as a 2/1 to trade.
There are some cards that I think he'd want to get away from. He's got 2 Woodland Bellowers in the main, which is sweet. That's another. But I don't want to play a 6-mana spell against this deck, especially not when I'm on the draw.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, players are going to get ready here. This is our last tournament with Dragons of Tarkir and Magic Origins. We were kind of talking about that yesterday. What we're going to be sad to see go. These black decks certainly are going to have to find a new direction. They're losing Languish. They're losing Infinite Obliteration, a lot of tools. Now, what that means, though, as the old goes out, the new comes in, and the new is going to be Kaladesh. We've seen spoilers of that all weekend, and we're going to look at some on stream today. But you're going to pick up these cards, if you're going to want to play them, your first chance to do it right after the release weekend is going to be Grand Prix Atlanta. This is October 7th through 9th. It's coming up in just a month. It's hosted by Star City Games. So get your chance to crack those packs, maybe get some of the Planeswalkers, bring your artifact tokens with you. This is going to be a great event. So we now have registration open for it, and that's going to be important because the exclusive art playmat we have with it. This is a picture of Kaladesh, if you would, on a playmat for Grand Prix Atlanta. This is available for anyone who enters the main event this coming week. So you have until Friday, September 9th. Registration is open, though, so make sure to head over online and do it. StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta.
This is a lovely oil painting, a still life of downtown Atlanta. You mentioned that Languish is rotating out of Standard, and everybody I see constantly on the internet is saying that Damnation needs a reprint. So presumably it's just in Kaladesh.
Boy, that would change. That would sure change the format, wouldn't it? To have that kind of card back. I'm not saying you can't do it. Languish, in a lot of ways, Languish can be better than Damnation. In a certain, if we have,
if you have a 5 toughness creature, like a Sylvan Advocate.
No, not that. That's one situation. That's the other way. See,
No.
Okay.
Gavin is playing Sylvan Advocates and he's casting Languishes.
Oh yeah.
It's a combo.
Cedric starts on Town Gossip Monger, then plays Dragon Hunter. He will immediately flip that creature, but plays no second land.
Sideboarded in the 19th Plains and still missed.
Yeah, what are the odds? He wants to flip that in case Gavin had something like a card, I believe, Deadweight.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a swing for 5, but ultimate price is fine. Make it a swing for 2. Gavin down to 18. Did Cedric hit his land? No, he'll play Kythian. That's another card. Cedric's board actually going to all rotate out right now. This is the last hurrah for both Dragon Hunter and Kythian.
Dragon Hunter will be missed.
He never really hunted dragons.
I've seen it happen.
I challenge that.
I had to go out of my way to find it, but I've seen it happen.
Gavin will Oath of Nissa for an Evolving Wilds, then use it to find a land. Yeah, that text didn't do very much. Here's a swing for 4 from Cedric. Gavin goes to 14. Does Cedric have a land? Nobody's got more 1-drops. Here's Thraben Inspector.
Gavin has a languish at the ready, though.
That's not what Cedric Phillips wants to see here. He got a clue, but he's never going to crack that.
Nope. Need 2 lands to do that one.
Hopes that Gavin doesn't just put him in the grave here with a languish. Yep, there. 2 cards in, 4 mana in. Cedric, he knows it's coming. He scoops them. Every mono white player has that card on his mind. And there we go. There's land 2. Boom.
Had it.
Checkmate.
All right,
Thalia's Lieutenant. Go.
Back on the table.
You win by the Savannah, live by the Savannah Lions, and you die by the Savannah Lions.
Got a 14-turn clock online.
Tireless Tracker, land 5, clue for Gavin.
And it's off.
Welcome to round 3. You have 50 minutes.
Passes.
Please begin.
Cedric, another Plains.
How lucky. He's running so hot.
Just how he drew it up. Thinking, is there any, how does he get through this? One of the tough things that Gavin's finishers are these 3 and 4 drops. They're not even expensive.
So if Cedric is going to be able to punch through a Tireless Tracker, it means he has to make this Thalia's Lieutenant big or go wide, which usually means the same thing.
Land always watching, passes turn. Gavin will grow the Tireless Tracker as he cracks that clue, untaps for his 6th turn.
And Cedric's best way out of this game in this kind of matchup, when you know your opponent has a bunch of languishes, is probably to try to just get one creature that can attack for a lot and get a Griff's Boon on it.
Gavin, that's not a good sign for Cedric. Gavin's just attacking with the tracker. Here's 4, Cedric to 16. If Gavin feels confident enough to make that play, then who knows what's happening. Sylvan Advocate is a 4/5. Gavin passes.
He has the Advocate. He still has Hissing Quagmire hanging out, which he could use to block. Undoubtedly a couple removal spells in hand.
Yeah, at least one Grasp of Darkness is in his hand.
That's just what his deck. He's tribal removal spells.
Declaration in Stone on the Advocate. It'll exile. Gives Gavin another clue. Here's Dragon Hunter, counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. Gavin will let it happen. Give Cedric some hope before you Grass Boy his guy. Swing for 3. Is Gavin going to take it? He does.
And the Declaration is nice because the Quagmire would have been a 4/4 on the block as well.
So here's the bad neuse.
Yeah.
Why Gavin didn't use his Grasp is because now that he has 2 clues, he can crack them both, untap, and cast the second languish that's in his hand.
That's another one of those creature languish combos.
It's one of those things. Yeah.
You don't get this with Damnation.
Yeah. Yeah, see, now it's got 5 toughness as Gavin's going to just draw some cards. Those clues are gone, by the way. Yeah. And he's going to have that sweeper that doesn't even sweep everything. Yeah, Cedric says, you got it, don't you? And Gavin just a smirk. Oh, Evolving Wilds, here's a clue, maybe another one.
Obviously I have it, Cedric. Why would I not have it?
Cedric back down to 0 creatures. On the bright side, Cedric will only be taking 2 or maybe 3 damage this turn. Because the tracker shrank.
It's important to remain positive.
2 clues from an extra clue from the Evolving Wilds for Gavin. Cracks 1. Trash Tracker, when it's uncontested, this card's really unfair. It just keeps growing and you keep drawing cards. The swing is for 3, Cedric to 13. Pass back. Knight of the White Orchid. Find Cedric a Plains.
It's a 2-for-1.
Sure is.
The tracker's at 7 power. Cedric's under a 2-turn clock.
He'll crack the clue. If he finds land, he can play it. Pass the turn. Untap, that is a 7/6 Tireless Tracker. He has been tirelessly making clues this game. Kalidas for Gavin. Land, make a clue. Kill spell the knight, make a zombie. Cedric's going to make him close this one out. Cracks clue, draws card, swings 8, Cedric's to 5. And that's just about going to do it. Draws, does this do it? Nod? No, it doesn't. 2-0. Gavin Schober improves to 10-1. Black-green control.
Cedric shows Gavin that he did not top deck balance, which is, I believe, the out that he was looking for.